what has been going on with Gaber's Heaven in the last almost year since I really posted the last major vlog, or at least the footage you guys have seen. So hey guys, I got the mountain for once today, so I thought I'd do a bit of a one take long video to give you guys an update on everything, just because I think almost 8 months, almost a year behind on my vlog editing, because I have videos. The last super vlog I edited was the month of August, and I didn't do September, October, and up till now. And so instead of waiting a little bit longer, I thought I'd make this video for you guys. It's about a decent drive to my store right now, so I thought I kind of give you guys an update on what's going on. The vlogs are still going to come. I still have all the videos organized by the dates and the files. I just need time to sit down and edit them. If you guys have been following or haven't been following, my schedule, especially in the last 2 months, has been all over the place. But long story short, we're still here. No, but we're still moving towards our 10-year anniversary mark, which is in about 2 months, actually. We're 2 months away from officially being open for over 10 years. And that's a huge milestone in any business. Whether or not all the circumstances involved, what it got us here, at the end of the day, we are still here almost after 10 years later. We're not out of the woods yet. This summer is going to be kind of like biggest telltale on whether or not are we going to be here for the next 10 years or something else here. But where we left off in the last video, I was just coming back from California, and the reason for that trip, and to be honest, my hiatus and why I've been so busy the last few months, and I apologize for the air. There you go, I'm gonna lower the air here. It's because we've actually been on a super gauntlet since June of last year to pay off the majority of our really big debts. And it's been a daunting task for sure, but long story short on that one, ever since we stopped franchising over 2 years ago now, we've been on this stint to do our best to try to figure our way to recovery, because by the end of it, we were straddled with a tremendous amount of debt. We didn't know how to even begin tackling it. At the same time, taking care of the things at the store that we overlooked or let go because we were so focused on franchising. And by the end of 23, we decided to start streaming, and that started going really well. Things were starting to pick up. We were running some sales. Good traction was starting to get going. And then we launched, that was on the TikTok side. And then we started streaming. And then around January, I was finally convinced and decided to go all in on Twitch. And you guys have been following us there. We were off to a great start. It was a lot of good energy, a lot of good streams, very exhausting. I did a lot of things, a lot of challenges that I'm still PTSD from. But overall, we were making a really good community. And by the summer, we got partnered, which was tremendous in just that 6 months. And it was going great. The views are going up, ad revenue, everything. All my sales were starting to pick up. And then all of a sudden, June of 2024 is when we got hit with everything at once. Every single person, every single creditor, everyone that we borrowed money from or had lines of credits with and so forth, everything that we accumulated trying to franchise came knocking on the door all at the same time. And eventually, we were faced with $30,000 a month loan payments, 30 plus, by the way, from June through December. Otherwise, we were going to be forced to shut down. And then, but that wasn't even it. That's the brunt force of it. And then from January through the beginning of July, it would have been reduced to $10,000 a month, but still $10,000 a month. It's quite the daunting task. But either way, though, so all of a sudden, my tone of my streams and everything that I was doing completely shifted because I had to. It was DEFCON 1 mode, and it was all in on just focusing, number one, on recovery, but number two, where are we going? Because let's be frank here, it's one thing to just keep clawing away and paying off debt and doing all this, but if you have no direction forward, why bother continuing? And a lot of people were questioning me on that in terms of, why are you still doing this? You're not making any money. You're going to be slaving away, paying all this stuff back. You're always going to be looking over your shoulder. Clearly, the markets are shifting. Inflation isn't helping. There's all these things that I personally fell behind on. There's a lot of other mutuals of mine or other creators that when they focused on a single lane and they're doing extremely well, and that's true. But all that aside, I decided to continue, and my team did, because we still had traction. We still had a community that wanted to support us, and we still had opportunities in front of us that we could really capitalize on. And for us, a lot of people don't, especially people in our situations, don't get that opportunity a lot. And so we decided to just tackle it all in. And right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's been a year since that event happening. In terms of, it's June right now. It was June last year where all of this came crashing down on us. And no, we're not out of the woods yet. We're in our last month of this super gauntlet. But in typical small business fashion, other things have come up that is obviously slowing us down once again. And I won't go into details. That's private matters between the individual parties involved. But overall, though, it's just another matter of, well, here we go again. And it's kind of different, though, because the big ones are out of the way. And essentially, the remaining debts that we have and the remaining obligations, we have a path forward now in addressing that, because we can actually start reinvesting back into the business. We can grow the other areas that have been neglected. One of them being the retail section. We actually haven't been able to get new product for almost 2 years because we just couldn't in terms of the finances. And we're at this opportunity here. And I'll be honest here, it's been a rough few months just trying to figure all of this out. On top of that, my daughter, my third child, my wife gave birth to our daughter 2 months ago today. So she's actually 2 months now. And if I'm being honest with you guys, when my wife was in labor in the hospital, what was racing through my head was, we're not ready. I was like, baby girl, please don't come out right now. We are not ready for you. There's still other things I need to get done. And there's like, the world was crashing around behind me, and this child was about to come into that chaotic world. And I was like, I am not going to be able to provide. And all this doubt was creeping in. And not to make this cheesy, but as soon as I held her, it just became straightforward. Cut the BS out. You got to do what you got to do and just execute and go. There's no time for what ifs and blaming others and making excuses and all. There's no time for that, because I had to take care of this human being. Obviously, on top of my 2 boys and obviously my employees and my investors, there's a lot of people who are relying on us that I don't have time to freak out. And so just making the hard decisions and just continuing forward. And we're at it. But why am I making this video too, other than to update you guys? I know the content side has taken a major dip in the last few months. I just haven't had time to get live streamed here and there, but I haven't even had time to edit those live streams. There's a year's worth of content where if I had an editor, we may have a lot more shorts and a lot more long form videos, but I just don't have the luxury, unfortunately. It's not an excuse. Between my fatherly and husband duties and then the store duties, the B2B, that alone, and the stream schedule, that all of that alone takes up the majority of my day. I'm averaging very little sleep. But the cherry on top of all that is the Pokemon singles. So if you guys have been watching the more recent videos, you guys have seen me upload some video clips from me being at the shows, and you have done relatively well. And a lot of people were thinking, hey, did I finally bite the bullet and just convert to all trading card games and Pokemon and that kind of stuff? And the answer is no. But what I am doing is, my teams are fully in terms of delegated. There's a dedicated store team and crew, as small as it is, and they definitely need more help. They got it down. And then I have a new formed convention team that's been tested throughout the last 6 months, and I'm very proud of I'm very proud of the outcomes of what they've been able to produce. So that's been taken care of. And then for me, I've noticed a need in our Pokemon area, because our singles haven't really dove into the singles market, let alone the sealed market of Pokemon. The reason is not because of the hype, but because in our store, we finally have a robust player base that is actually like on a weekly basis. And like the thing that really, the big moment for me was Pokemon Day. There was a Pokemon celebration day, and we had over 100 people, families in the store, just going crazy. And I'm like, when did this happen? And I kind of wish went back 10 years and got focused on Pokemon, because right now all the boxes I could have got for really cheap back then are worth but that's neither here nor there. And I heard it too. Like at that point, I'm like, I can't get any more product because of all the scalpers and all the craziness going on. And in the Pokemon singles market, it is inflated, it's really high, and everyone's doing it. There's so many people vending cards, and the bigger players are already established. Pretty much, there's every excuse in the world for us to not even try. But after 10 years, especially with everything going on right now, I can't afford to just let opportunities like that slip away. So I don't care about the competition or anything like that. I'm just going to start. We have people in the store that wanted to trade. We have people around us that want to work with us in that regard. And my boys were getting into it, and my nephew's into it. And so I was like, let's combine everything, just see what happens. And I'm proud to say, now I'm officially almost 3 months into this journey of building our Pokemon side of the business, and it has been growing very steadily. I am very proud of the work that me and Ben and the rest of the team have been putting into it, where, again, we're not all in. I am not 24/7 eBay market and Facebook marketplace looking for collections and wheeling and dealing. I'm not that. I'm not a sports card store where people just bring in and they sell it off and they send up hundreds of cards to no, it's like a full-time side gig. And so I do dedicate a good amount of hours per week. And yes, I have been doing shows every weekend to do it. And the majority of the shows have been good. A couple of them have been really slow, but no matter what, each show, we've been able to make some good trades and grow our collection to the point where at this point in time, our collection is just over $30,000 in value, which is not much compared to a lot of our other contemporaries for sure. But we started with pretty much nothing. And in the last 3 months, growing it up to this level, couldn't be more proud of the work that I've been, and it's not over yet because there's so much more to do. There's so much more things I want to do to the booth setup and maximize the event and so forth to get ready for Collecticon. Doing a Collecticon Richmond at the end of July here that I'm preparing for, because then Charlotte 2 weeks after, because con is really, from my mutuals in the industry keep telling me, is that's like the San Diego Comic-Con of the trading card and sports card world. And it's just like, then if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make sure that I put my best presentation forward. So inventory, presentation, sign-ins, and so forth, like right out there, and strength, and anywhere it goes there. But just happily say that has been a small blessing on the side, because it's helped pay for certain things. Able to get my boys a lot of things, and through being a vendor, been able to get boys really like opening packs. Kind of wish they started last year, but we're here now. But no, it's been very enjoyable doing this with them, and it's been a lot of fun. And sorry about my filler words, but it's been good. Good on my mental health too. I will say this: after my daughter was born, I did take 2 weeks off of social media. No posts, no streaming, no TikTok. I just did a mental break, and boy howdy, that was very much needed. And and I've started to come back a little bit. It's not 100% back on streaming yet, just because this is the last gauntlet month where we are doing anything and everything. We're doing a show every weekend. Have major releases that we're preparing for. Definitely been a lot of just prep work and just figuring out finances. It's been a week by week basis, but as soon as we get past the first week of July, it's not that we're out of the woods yet, but it's just for once in the 2 years since we stopped franchising and had to, we were faced with that original decision of whether or not to close. We're finally, we can take a deep breath, at least for like that week, right? And then get right back to it, because we can't rest. We don't have the luxury of taking a break, because this industry is going crazy right now. And the markets and everything is in a chaotic turmoil right now. And if I let my foot off the gas, who knows what can happen. And so I'm going to keep it on. We're like, it's more of like we're in the middle of a race, and we're at that section of the race where we're going to take our foot off the accelerator, just let it coast for a second, give the engine a break, and then go right back into it. New set of tires, and let's go again. We still have the rest of the race to go. And here, and I'm hoping that starting next month I'll be able to start catching up on the videos, because I know I haven't been vlogging too much in terms of, think about it, there was definitely sporadic videos that I did shoot throughout the last few months, here and there, as I what I could to kind of guys updates in between of what's been going on, but this is like the first proper video where I'm sitting down and just kind of guys like a little bit of a recap. And oh geez, you can tell, like, I haven't got much sleep lately. Today is actually, this week is nightmares, because Monday we had to unload the truck and that took all day. Tuesday I had to do landscaping because my yard was a jungle. Get prescriptions, doctor's appointments, surgical appointments, and obviously business budgeting for the week. Today was supposed to be pre-order prep, which that's why I'm heading to the store right now, is to start preparing for I have 80 orders, Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering pre-orders, that I need to prep for. The shipments are a little late right now, so they're getting to us by tomorrow apparently, but doesn't mean that we can't lay out the groundwork right now. So get the boxes prepared, the wraps, the print labels, shipping labels, so that when the product comes in tomorrow, it's just box go. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. I also got Pokemon trades to do. So I got some trades yesterday, have some trades today. And so I'm buying up people's collections or individual cards, and there's no rest for the weary. As much as I do my best to sell off what I can over the weekend, that's so that I can continue rotating the product up. As much as I like a certain card, if it frees up cash or if it yields more cards for the overall inventory, I need to take it. I don't have the luxury of just like, buy this to hold on to. No, because the margins that we are forced to work with right now because of the market, industry standards, we definitely have to make sure that we keep churning. So a lot of people like to complain like, well, you can't really do much off of 20%. True, if it's just one individual card or transaction. But if you rotate that card 5-10 times over, you essentially almost doubled your value. I'm just doing simple math here, but that's what I've been focusing on, just constantly churning and turning to get to that apex point. And kind of led to what we success today, as well as being able to take care of some things on the side. But so right now, weekend did better than our case scenario budget. So we made our ideal goal, and we made what the minimum could do, and we hovered right about above the minimum, which isn't terrible given everything going on. But these next few weeks, right, this weekend, and then the end, we have a triple threat at the end of the month, like we did this past weekend, where we have a store release, convention, upper anime or Comic-Con show, and then me doing a big 2-day show. We have another one of those over the weekend, and I am nervous because who knows how it's all going to go. But depending on how the rest of this month goes, will then set the tone for the rest of the summer and the year. And I keep saying, in the other videos I shot before this, you'll see this later on, but it really does set precedent. So when you guys see the update video for your August, you guys will know. My investors will know. I'm actually at the beginning of July, I'm going to be making a Q2 video for all of the investors, and keep on pushing forward. I'm oddly kind of nervous. I am stressed and I'm worried to death. But in that same breath, I was actually speaking with my mutual Kian from Schwa. He both kind of same thing. We're both really struggling right now, but at the same time, there are in the middle of the summer, you stand outside and they're just cold breezes that come through. It's not like the temperature dropped and you're cooling down, but in that you get brief moments of that feels nice, right? We're starting to get a little bit more of that. And we are hoping that the winds are about to change in a more, not success, we're going to be millionaires, but begin to then fully get out of where we were just a year or two ago, and then focus on growing again. A little bit differently. But with that said, that kind of gives you guys a little bit of a framework. I am still figuring out my schedule. Thankfully, the kids are no longer in school, so I don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to drive them to school and then pick them up at 3 o'clock every day anymore. We do that. Now, last thing I'll leave you guys with too is I'm going through a major schedule change and doing a show every weekend so that I can spend time with my boys during the daytime. So the weekdays. So I'm pretty sure you guys would agree. I don't want to go to touristy places or any amusement park during the weekends. Nuh-uh. A Monday or Tuesday in the middle of the week, sure. They're going to be kids and summer camps and that stuff, but not as much as off for the weekend. So I do plan on taking them on a bunch of little trips here and there. I did promise them, and I am going to commit to taking the boys to the beach. I have not taken my children to the beach in over 10 since they were born. I've never taken them once. And I didn't believe that when I really thought about it. My wife told me. And so I'm committing that we're going to break that cycle and do that this year. And last summer, I was constantly working and constantly on the road, that my kids' summer vacation just kind of, they really spent the last month at home. And I don't want that for them this year. And so I'm going to be working hard in the evenings and in the weekends so that my kids could have some memories throughout the daytime. And also for not just my kids, but for me as well, because I have a very limited time with my children at this age. This time where they do want to spend time with me, right? I don't want to waste any more of that. So lastly, guys, Gamers Heaven, 10 years. I'll do a proper recap video. I'm going to release another video during the 10-year anniversary, but just, it's been a long journey. So with that said, let me get going. I actually got to go pick up a drink and then get to the store and get working and stuff here. But if you watch this part of the video, I appreciate you. Not a lot of people end up watching these videos and stuff, but hope everyone is doing well. I know it's probably not a good time for a lot of people, and a lot of people are concerned about everything that's going on right now. I can't lie and say that I'm not concerned. Like, I'm carrying my papers around and everything because of those legitimate concerns and stuff. But I hope you guys also understand, for those who are watching this and who may have thoughts of like, hey, why haven't you spoken about it or anything like that? I live in an area that unfortunately I don't have many people who look like me. And the last time I spoke out anything or even addressed something, received verbal threats and death threats to my family. I don't have the luxury of just simply moving away from here because we're not in that situation, unfortunately. And so I hope you guys understand that it's not my silence is being compliant. I do need to consider the safety of my family is the biggest thing that I am concerned about. But I also make sure to speak through my actions and speak in terms of like, I do put my money, what businesses I support. When someone does need help, I go ahead and give it. And there's all sorts of other things I've been doing on the side that I'm not recording, I'm not live streaming because I don't need to. There's no need for that kind of stuff. You should just be decent to decent. What I just said offends you, I apologize, guys, but I thought I'd just put this at the end of this video because I didn't know how to address it. Because if I made a short form video and if it went viral for the wrong reasons, like, I don't want that pressure on my children. If it was just me, it'd be completely different. But I do not want to expose my kids to that, to anything right now. You just can't. So I hope you guys understand that. But with that said, I hope that all of you guys stay safe. You guys stay positive as you can. Keep on pushing forward. You are not alone in this game of life that we are all going through together. But just know that you have brothers and sisters who are right there with you, going through the same thing, that do understand. At least having that understanding, when we mutually all get together, we can just do our best to just kind of life and celebrate the fact that we're all here together. So, all right, time to get packing these orders and doing these trades. All right, guys, I'll see you guys hopefully in the next vlog or video or live stream. I appreciate you guys watching.